Everyone. Today we're going to be continuing with our geometry unit, and today's lesson is lesson 4, which is classifying quadrilaterals. So in our previous lesson, we worked on classifying triangles, which are three-sided polygons. We learned that we could classify them by their angles, the size of their angles, and also by the length of their sides. And so today we'll see some similarities with how we can classify quadrilaterals. So for starters, what is a quadrilateral? It's a polygon which has four sides. So polygons are just any, closed multi-sided shape. So there's plenty of them. Polygons, hexagons, triangles, and quadrilaterals count as well. And so how do we classify these four-sided shapes? Okay, so for starters, any shape that has four sides is automatically going to be classified as a quadrilateral. The prefix here, quad, okay, quad actually means four. If you've ever, maybe ridden on like a quad, it has four wheels, hence, why they're called quads. And so any of these shapes that we talk about today, they are going to be classified as quadrilaterals. So let's start here at the top. The first one we have is a trapezoid. And a trapezoid is a quadrilateral, and it only has one pair of parallel sides. And so we've seen lots of new kind of little markings on shapes lately. We've seen the markings for angles and for lengths of sides. And so now we have some new little marks here. We see some arrows. These arrows represent parallel sides on a figure. And so these are showing us that this side here and this side down here are parallel. So there's no arrows on these sides, so we understand that these sides are not parallel in the shape, and so that's why it's a trapezoid. It only has one pair of sides that are parallel to each other. And remember from our previous lesson on, perpendicular and parallel lines, parallel lines just means that they're never intersecting, they always stay the same distance apart. So our next shape is a parallelogram, and a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of their opposite sides being parallel. So you notice here we've got, the arrows on these sides showing that these sides are parallel to each other, and then there's two arrows showing that these two sides are parallel to each other. And so the reason, why this side has two, whereas these have one, because same thing like the side lengths on the triangles, they're just showing you the different sets that are parallel to each other. Okay, so parallelogram has two pairs of parallel sides. Okay, they're not necessarily the same length. Okay, we'll get to that later, but it just has, the two sets of parallel sides. Next we have a rhombus, and so a rhombus is a special parallelogram because the four sides are equal. So here you'll notice we see these tick marks again like we did on our triangles. They're showing us that all of these sides are the same length. I kind of like to say that a rhombus is like a square that got stepped on. Okay, it kind of just looks like a squished square because they share that feature of having four equal sides. And so when it says it's a parallelogram, that just lets us know that it does also have opposite sides that are parallel to each other. So this side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. But on top of that, it also has four equal sides. Next, we're going to get into a rectangle. And this is, kind of like a common shape that we learn, early on in school. It's a parallelogram. So parallelogram again, meaning that these sides are parallel and these sides are parallel to each other. However, it's special because it also has four right angles. So now we see these symbols again, okay? The little squares in the corners letting us know that they are right angles. So another special way to think about, the size of a rectangle is that they actually they're perpendicular lines. So we remember that lesson, right? The parallel lines, okay, they never intersect. And then the perpendicular lines intersect at 90-degree angles. So, the combination, different combinations of lines and angles give us different shapes. And so this rectangle here is special in the fact that it has two sets of parallel sides. However, the connecting lines where the lines intersect also create right angles, so there's perpendicular lines in there as well. And then last but not least, we have our square, and the square's got a whole lot going on here. We've got the tick marks letting us know that all the sides are equal. And then we also have the boxes letting us know that it has 4 right angles. So a square is a very special parallelogram with 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. And so these are the basic, the basic 5 quadrilaterals. Another way that they can be presented is in what they call a hierarchy. And so this is kind of like it's just like a flow chart. And we kind of start off at the top here with our basic, quadrilateral. So any 4-sided figure or 4-sided shape counts as a quadrilateral. And then we start breaking it down based off of sets of parallel sides. So here, the trapezoid has only the one set of parallel sides, okay? And you can have a trapezoid that looks like this, where the parallel sides are at the top and bottom. And then this one actually has a set of right angles, okay? And that's, that doesn't have any, it's not like, you could say it's a right trapezoid, I guess. And then a special type of trapezoid is an isosceles trapezoid. And all that means is that the non-parallel sides are the same length. So it still has the one set of parallel sides, still the top and bottom. Typically, you'll find the top and bottom of the trapezoid are the parallel sides. But then these sides are equal. So that would be isosceles. And if you remember from our lesson on triangles, okay, the isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides as well. So, kind of seeing the connection there. So we're done on this side of our flow chart. So these are just, having the one set of parallel sides. Now, if we go to the other side from our, quadrilateral base, we get to a parallelogram. And so the parallelogram, remember, had 2 sets of parallel sides. So what this means is that everything else below here also has 2 sets of parallel sides. So that means that everything on this side will also classify as a parallelogram, okay? So this parallelogram, it just has the 2 sets of equal sides, and a parallelogram, a basic parallelogram to me looks like a smushed rectangle, like someone stepped on a rectangle. Again, we have our little lines here, so not only is this side parallel to this side, but they're also equal in length. And you find that that's actually necessary because you can't have the lines be up. The lines won't be parallel if the if an opposite side is a different length, then it will make the other sides different lengths as well, and then they won't be parallel. So this side is parallel to this side. Okay, now we branch off again, and so here. Again, these are both still considered parallelograms because they have, the opposite sides parallel to each other. However, this one has the equal sides, right? This is like the smush square. And I know the old school name for this would have been a diamond. But, it's a rhombus. And so we have a parallelogram with equal sides. And we have the rectangle on this side because remember, it didn't have equal sides, but it was special because it had the right angles. Okay, so a rhombus does not have right angles, but the rectangle does. And then we come down here and the square's just got everything. Okay, the square classifies as a rhombus because it has, all the sides the same length. And then it classifies as a parallelogram because it has opposite sides that are parallel. It's obviously a quadrilateral because everything on here is a quadrilateral, but it also counts as a rectangle because it has the 4 right angles. So a square can actually be classified as all of the things that come before it, and then we just give it the special name of a square. So classifying quadrilaterals is a little bit like classifying triangles in that, you can give it more than one name. And so what I'm actually going to do here is, oops, no, I want my mouse because I want to copy. So what I have here is all the different titles, you know, that we can, or ways we can describe and classify a polygon. And we're just going to, you know, kind of copy and paste these wherever they belong, however many ways we can describe that shape. So I'm actually going to go ahead and, you know, put quadrilateral under this figure here. And I can actually do the same here because, like we said before, if it has 4 sides, it's a quadrilateral. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely fit that bill. Now let's look at the next where we have trapezoid. Well, trapezoid means it only has one set of parallel lines, and from the looks of it, this does not have just one set, and this doesn't have just one set. So I'm going to skip over trapezoid. Parallelogram means that it has 2 sets of parallel sides. And this side look parallel to each other, and this side look parallel. So I'm going to put parallelogram under this figure. And same thing here, this side and this side looks parallel, this side and this side looks parallel. So let's go ahead and give that one the name parallelogram as well. Now we have rhombus. Okay, rhombus would be a 4-sided shape with 2 sets of parallel sides with sides of equal length. Well, I can automatically tell that this side and this side are not equal, so that's not going to be a rhombus. However, this definitely looks like it has 4 equal sides, so we can give this one here the title of rhombus. And then all we have left is rectangle. So a rectangle is a quadrilateral with, you know, that's a parallelogram with 4 right angles, okay? And so this shape here has no right angles, all right? None of these look like, you know, you can make your nice little box in the corners here. However, this shape here does have nice straight corners, okay, looking like 90 degrees. So we can give this shape here the title of rectangle. And in case you haven't figured it out yet, this is a square. Definitely is a square. So we're going to put that under here as well. So here, you know, we call this a square, but it actually classifies as many different things. It's a quadrilateral, it's a parallelogram, it's a rhombus, it's a special kind of rectangle, and it's a square because of all the properties that it has. This shape over here, it is a parallelogram and it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. So let's go ahead and do a couple other shapes. To begin with, okay, they're both quadrilaterals. So we can put that there. They both have 4 sides. Now remember, trapezoid has only one set of parallel lines, and this one obviously has 2 sets of parallel lines, so we would not classify it as a trapezoid. But this figure over here, okay, does only have one set of parallel sides. So this is a quadrilateral and a trapezoid. Now let's see if we can put any other descriptions under this shape. So is it a parallelogram? Yes, it does have 2 sets of parallel sides. Is it a rhombus? No, because it does not have sides of equal length. Is it a rectangle? Yes, because it does have, okay, its corners, it does have the 90-degree angles. And neither of these would classify as a square because they don't have the 90-degree angles and 4 equal sides. Okay, so for your assignment today, you're going to work on IXL lesson X.9, just continuing working on how to classify quadrilaterals. So that's it for today. I'll see you guys later. Bye.